SBR Forum Videos, I'm Peter Loshak. This is Pete's Premium Parlay for NFL Week 12. I'm Peter Loshak, and after hitting a 5-teamer in college football last year, I'm now up $1,000 total in these parlays all year long. So haters and doubters and faders and auto faders, bite it, you scum. All right, here we go. NFL Week 12. Let's see if I can have a winner here in the NFL. And wound up taking just a basic two-teamer with two -110 sides. As usual, these lines in the NFL are pretty tough. Bunch of sides that I almost considered putting in, and there's probably a small edge in them. But these NFL lines in general are very tight, so tend to be fewer with significant enough edges to put in a parlay. Most interesting bet of the week, I think, is Jacksonville-Houston. I previewed that game with Joe Duffy, and he said he liked the over at 43.5. I was like, all right, Jacksonville does tend to do better on offense on the road, and Houston, Case Keenum is playing well, but 43.5 is a reasonably high NFL total, and we've seen Jacksonville's offense absolutely stall. The reason it's interesting is because then when I talked to Brent from BetDSI this week, he told me that was a sharp bet. That the Sharps came in on the over when it was 42.5. I'm assuming they wouldn't take it at 43.5, but the fact they took it at 42.5 and that Joe Duffy liked it at 43.5, very interesting, very telling. Maybe it's a good bet at 43.5, but I'm not going to include it there. Then let's see what else we have here. I almost took St. Louis -1. I previewed that game with Brandon Shively. He liked St. Louis -1. I can see where he's coming from. Of course, St. Louis is off of a bye. They crushed Indianapolis before the bye. First-year quarterback, maybe a little bit inconsistent. He could come off the bye after that win and come in with a dud. But St. Louis probably, I suspect, slight edge there. Then Stephen O from EventDataServices.com. This guy decided all of a sudden that he's going to start giving us premium plays for free in our videos. So I really appreciate it. He's hit 2 weeks in a row. This week he recommended Tampa Bay +9. That scares me, but I trust him. He's probably right. Don't quite have the balls to put it in there. But if he says that Tampa Bay +9 is a side with value, then I do trust him. Then let's see. What else? Oh, yeah. All right. Scott Kellen. Previewed Denver, New England with Scott Kellen. And Scott Kellen, no surprise there at all. Says that he liked the Pats at +2.5 at home. And I talked to Brent from BetDSI about that one. And I said, I'm sure that the public's all over Denver here. Are the Sharps on New England? I'm not exactly sure. It turned out that they were. That is exactly the case. Public, like in Denver, Sharps took New England at +3, -120. So I almost included the Pats. Right now it's +2 and +105 on the money line. So I almost threw it in there. Probably still a little bit of value there, but ultimately decided against it. All right, what were the other sharp sides? Only two others, really, that Brent identified to me. One was Minnesota +4.5. It's now +4. I previewed that game with Tony George. He made a good argument on the over 44. Probably the over 44 and Minnesota +4 have small value right now. I decided not to include him, though. And then I was expecting, I previewed the Jets-Baltimore game with Al McMorty from BigAl.com, and I said, Baltimore feels like a public side. The Jets might be a sharp side, and Al McMorty did, in fact, say that he really liked the Jets at +4. So when I previewed that, when I talked to Brent about that, I was expecting him to say that, he did take sharp action on the Jets. Maybe there was a sharp public split, and the Sharps were on the Jets. But in fact, he told me the opposite. He said he's taken hardly anything on the Jets and actually got sharp action on Baltimore when they were at -3, -120, and -125, and also on the money line at -180. So there you go. Sharps actually came in on Baltimore at -3. All right, let's get to the two picks that I am going to include in the parlay this week. The first one I did preview with Scott Kellen, Pittsburgh and Cleveland, right? I looked at the game. I said, Cleveland, second game off the bye, the first game they lost. Pittsburgh improving, but now they go on the road where maybe they won't be quite as effective. And, Cleveland's second game off the bye. Pittsburgh hasn't had their bye in a while. So I said to Scott, I kind of like Cleveland -2.5, and Scott agreed. That was the side that he liked, made his argument pretty clearly. Now, though, they are down to -1. So I don't know what has driven that action. I'm assuming that's sharp action. Could be public action. I don't know. But right now at BetDSI, Cleveland is just -1. So that's a little bit concerning. But they are going to be the first pick in the parlay. Cleveland -1, -110. And then the second one is going to be the over in the Oakland game, in Tennessee, Oakland. Previewed the game with Al McMorty. He made a great case for Tennessee at +1, and that has moved now to pick 'em and -1. So he's probably right there on Tennessee. But I'm going to take the over 41. Matt McGloin played reasonably well. Tennessee's games since their bye have all gone, close to 50. Well over 41. 41 is a low total in the NFL. Again, McGloin playing well. one way or another. I think this game is more likely than not to go over. So that's my second pick in the parlay. Oakland over 41. Right now that is the line at BetDSI at -110. So those are the two picks. Cleveland -1, Oakland over 41, and that's straight two-teamer, $100 to win 264.46. And that's my premium parlay for NFL Week 12. Thanks for tuning in, and we will do this once again, of course, next week.